girls getting ready to start this 4x400, and I think we are about ready to go.
And I think one other thing, you know, you don't want to get it in the runway for the long jump because that gets very slick. You know, this track is very fast, but it's not real grainy. It does tend to get a little bit slippery, so something to watch.
There's quite a bit of standing water right down there on the near the infield. Is that the track for the height, or for the long jump?
No, it would be for the triple jump going the other way, but they're not using that pit, fortunately. So, but yeah, it is actually starting for the triple jump going the other way. So it could be a problem. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're off and running, and Centralia will be your favorite in this first preliminary heat. Centralia girls in lane 4 with a seat time of 4:17:36 in the 4x400. And we talked about back on the 4A, 5A, 6A, which doesn't seem that long ago now, that a lot of different strategy utilized and where you put your anchor and leadoff spot.
Now there's one difference here between what we're seeing here in some of the bigger schools, and that is there may not be 4, 5, or 6 400-meter kids. You're looking at kids that are putting in some big days, so trying to kind of deflate your team a little bit or take some of the punch out of it just to rest some kids probably is not an option in any of these 3 classes, as it would be maybe in 5 and 6A.
Now the first exchange coming up, and always important, the handoff, but in the 400 there is a little more room for error.
Well, there is here on the first exchange, of course, because of the stagger. After that, if it stays close, things can start being a little bit crowded. We saw a guy from Garden City get knocked off the track. I mean, completely knocked off the track in the prelims earlier.
And it's about the 600-meter mark, I believe, that we see them fall back into play. There they go.
Right in the stagger, very relaxed, going right for the height, the pole vault pit. That's about what you want to do. You don't want to cut in right away. You kind of want to just aim for about the middle of the back stretch. In this case, you just look about right at the pole vault pit there at the what would be the 50-yard line and just kind of shoot for it. And I bet that mist feels pretty good right there as that sprinkler continues to go. I imagine they're probably
somebody's getting a nice
there
photographer down there getting a nice picture in the mist. Is coming up on the second leg of this 4x400.
See who that is as they get the exchange.
And that is Golden Plains, I believe. Out of lane, they started out of lane 5.
Centralia or Golden Plains, one of the two, yeah. Out there well. And pulling away a little bit, trying to put some distance between the rest of the field and take as many people out of the equation as possible.
I think that's South Central in 3rd place there on the far straightaway.
How many phone calls are making? We need to turn off the water. Although it looks like it's starting to calm down a little bit. It's finally going out, so we have that problem fixed. That's one of the more unique things that happened. Times are not too bad right here, not bad at all. Of course, if you're wearing spikes, the water's not really a problem. If you're not, if you're wearing racing flats or you're running the 3200 or something like that, and you prefer not to wear spikes, then it could be a little bit more of a problem.
Again, Golden Plains in the lead here as they go to the 3rd leg.
Oh gosh, that was close. Just so close. Did they make it? I don't know if they got that handoff off. That was very close. I don't know who that is. Their anchor took off very, very early. They just got that in.
The 4th final leg, I should say.
Wow. I have to look at that handoff again. That was extremely narrow. But if I did not see a red flag go up, Chet, did you see a red flag go up? I don't know. Down there on the field, if we can find out if Chet got an eye on that one. But in any event, this is Golden Plains, and they're going to win this easily going away.
Bit of a surprise here how far the distance is between first and second here. Centralia in second.
They're going to break 4:07.
Golden Plains will in first. Looks like Centralia in second. Let's see, challenged by, I believe that's South Central in 3rd. Check that. Centralia does finish second. These are two top qualifiers here in the 4x400 in this first preliminary heat in Class 1A. We move on to the second heat. It's going to be Southern Coffee County, Downs Lakeside, Chase County, Hanover will be your fastest team coming in this, and South Gray in the lane 5. Kensington Thunder Ridge in lane 6, Langdon Fairfield in lane 7, and Rollins County in lane 8. And I think we have the sprinkler situation all taken care of. I don't see any more. There's a little standing water in the last turn down there on the
a little bit
near side.
And then, as you said, they're actually squeegeeing off. Now, they're between the long jump running lanes, there's a little bit of a ditch with a drain, and that's what they're doing right now. They've got a squeegee out, trying to squeegee some of that standing water off one of the triple, I believe it's where the long jump is being held, not the triple jump, just the long jump. So you're not taking off in the water, but you are having to run through it in 2 different locations, including one that is literally about 5 or 6 steps before you launch. And how that could affect things, we'll have to wait and see. But they're trying to get the squeegees to that water and get some of that loose water into the drains.
All right, the second preliminary heat in Class 1A. We're off and running in the 4x400 relay for the girls. And again, the team that beat time-wise coming into this is Hanover in lane 4:13.79 the time.
And not
time.
just by a little bit.
Yeah,
they're almost 7 seconds faster than the rest of the field.
Yeah, so, according to that time, they are the heavy favorite in this race. See how that all pans out.
Let's see if they can take care of business here. Right now, out in the outside lane, that's Rollins County, looking fairly strong.
Boy, Rollins County out there in lane 8.
Of course, you never know. A lot of teams can run 4x4s and not put all their big guns in that meet in regionals or any other time, and
Fairfield
just assemble that team. And it looks like Fairfield looking pretty strong too.
In lane 7, and again, it's a long way from being over. So hold on as the first exchanges are made, and Hanover.
They were easily the first 2 to the handoff. Almost handing off.
I think Hanover's picking up the speed here on this second leg, though, as young lady in the blue taking off, and they're going to take the lead, I think, on that back straightaway as they.
That is Fairfield, actually, that got out there. But now the rest of the crew, the rest of the gang is starting to catch up there in the blue. I believe that is Hanover, it is. Where they easily took control there.
Yeah, that was certainly a key leg here for them. We'll see what they do in the third and fourth leg.
You talk about the 2 outside lanes. You got to wonder, did you put your fastest people at the front? Did you try to keep yourself in the race and see what you can do and try to keep yourself in the fight as long as you can?
You know, get out that early lead, maybe bait some of the other teams into running out of their comfort zone early. But Hanover not biting, I don't think, as they took that lead. And now on the third exchange. For the third leg.
And Hanover still well out in front.
Hanover is still in the lead with Taylor Flip on the carry.
Starting to stretch that lead out a little bit, Leon. Some of the other teams that were in the fight earlier started to fall back a little bit. You see Fairfield back there in 4th place now. Trying to stay in there as long as they can. But certainly falling off the place. Hanover had a great second leg, Leon. Boy, they just really took control of this race right then. And always talk about having quarter milers like Mark Ewing said earlier. I mean, if you have a bunch of them, you're going to be in good shape. And certainly they are showing a lot of mettle right here.
I believe that is South Gray that has moved into second place
South Gray.
as on schedule, as they are the lane 5 starting team with the second best time coming in.
Kensington Thunder Ridge in 3rd. Look at Hanover. It's just not even a contest. This is going to be nice. She looks over at that big screen and sees about a 60-yard lead, you know. That just continues to grow, and it's not quite that long, but it's about 40 meters as she is got 150 to go. And Hanover's going to come away with the win here.
So you're going to be a battle for second place, though. That's always important as the top two teams qualify automatically again for the finals tomorrow. As Hanover easily win this one going away. And down the stretch they come with South Gray in second. And that is
Chase trying to give chase.
Chase County.
Hanover winning.
And South Gray will finish second.
See
that's Emily Salmons, by the way, running the anchor there for South Gray.
Very solid.
So a good run for them, and but boy, just a dominating performance from Hanover to win that preliminary heat. So we move to Class 2A now in the 4x400 for the girls. And it's going to be Kiowa County, Oakley, Marion, Jefferson County North with the best time coming in this. But right behind them in lane 5 will be St. Mary's Colgan out of Pittsburgh. They are really close in that time, 4:17.48 for Jefferson County North, and St. Mary's Colgan at 4:17.85. Kinsley, their relay team in lane 6, and Salina Sacred Heart in lane 7, and the Meade Buffaloes in lane 8. Also Marion in lane 3. Look out for them as well. This looks like a pretty competitive race, perhaps, according to the times.
Well, indeed. Yeah, according to the times. We've seen some things that have surprised us a little bit here, but you're looking at 4 teams that have been under 420. And then when you look at the second heat, you're looking at 3 more teams that have been under 3 teams that have been under 419. So very competitive field. This will be a lot of fun tomorrow evening if everything falls in line.
In the 4x400, it's a meter relay for the girls in Class 2A, and we are off and running as the shadows starting to become more prevalent here on the west side of Cessna Stadium on the press box side.
And the migration has started now that the shadow, of course, from the press box has made it all the way over to all of the grandstands. See how many people have pushed their way to the forward rows trying to get as close to the track as possible. We have a great crowd. It is just amazing how many people have shown up for this event today.
This is like another situation where I think, yeah, it's Meade in lane 8 coming out to that early lead as one of them, again, that strategy. Not expected to win, but let's get out to the early lead and see what happens.
Well, you see Jefferson County North really starting to make up the slack as well. Jefferson County North, and then in the lane right next to them, that is Marion. Traditionally, they have some pretty strong track teams as well, but handing off first, that was actually Oakley that got the baton away first in lane 2.
First leg is complete, and the first exchange.
So Oakley, a little bit of a surprise. Here comes Marion. Now here comes Jeff County North. Starting to flex their muscle a little bit. Someone coming up on the outside. That is Meade.
Well, they're still chugging away.
Still in the fight, making up ground, moving into third, now into second, now fighting for first as they overhaul Marion.
Let's see if they have anything left for these final 2 legs. Meade Buffalo's taking the lead again. They came in lane 8, which is usually the slowest seat time coming into this preliminary.
You talk about teams that have good sports tradition. There is another one right there, far southwest Kansas. The Buffaloes, traditionally with some pretty good kids and turned out some pretty good runners. That was not a great handoff, and it kind of cost them right there because that was, well, it was. I have to wait and see who that was that got out in front of him right there. It just slipped around him there on the handoff, but Meade starting to fight back and get back in this. This is going to be a great last leg. Meade now back in 3rd place.
And not really because of a speed issue, but as you mentioned, Rod, was more of a kind of an awkward exchange.
Now the handoff was not clean, and it cost him a couple of steps, but we'll see what happens here in the rest of this race. And that is St. Mary's.
St. Mary's Colgan is in first place now.
Kinsley starting to move up as well now. Meade trying to give chase and stay in 3rd place here.
Now, Kinsley started in lane 6, but actually Kinsley had a pretty good time coming into this. So
there were no slouches in this heat.
No, this has been and Meade still competing.
Meade is still right there.
Here we go.
And Meade is out in front. One leg to go. And it is Kinsley in second place.
By the way, Riley Gleason running the anchor for Kinsley.
Well, as much as Riley has done today, is she going to want to try to haul this in, or she just want to try to keep space? You got to think someone's going to be talking to her, but she's not. Yeah, she's going to go for it.
This is incredible.
Riley Gleason, and she's just smooth, just powers past the Meade runner. And now Meade hoping that they can hang on for second here, because she is
She
the
is having
chase
an incredible
is on.
day on this preliminary Friday. I mean, this is going to be 4 for 4. First,
I believe it is.
3 individuals, state record, and now the anchor of the 4x400.
And I hate to say it, but she really doesn't look tired. It was just very. But I'll tell you what, Meade.
And her shoes untied. Check that out. She took a look down. I think she's got a smile on her face.
And Meade looks like they're going to hang on.
Oh, my.
She just about had a flat tire there, but she hangs on and wins. And Meade with an impressive showing. They end up in second place.
There
so a nice showing for them.
An impressive effort from the Meade Buffaloes, though, is again, we kind of thought maybe they were just, getting out to that early lead and would fade back, but they never really did, except for that awkward exchange. As again, Riley Gleason leading Kinsley to the victory in the 4x400 here in this Class 2A preliminary. We're going to second preliminary here in the Class 2A in the 4x400. We have Leon Bluestem in lane 1, Bennington in lane 2, Hoxie lane 3 as we're off and running. Marine Academy, the favorite according to the seed time, again in lane 4. Jackson Heights in lane 5, Linden, Opie, Hodgman County in lane 8 as we are off and running.
Once again, we're seeing a team, West Franklin, running very, very hard here in the first leg. I'm sorry, Opie. One race ahead of me. Opie. They had a kid that ran pretty good last year here too, didn't they?
Yes, they did. He was a dominant, maybe one of the best middle distance runners we've seen in, well, I don't want to say since Jim Ryan, but pretty.
Certainly since Tim Gundy and some of them. He broke Tim Gundy's record, which had stood since 1979. So Opie looking pretty strong. Let's see what happens here. Let's see who gets the first handoff. The first handoff is in lane 2. Opie hands off second. So that is Bennington that gets the baton first. But now Opie trying to pull away a little bit. Bennington giving chase. We'll see how they end up as they blend in. Remember, Opie clear out there in lane 7. So they've got to take the long, easy route to the first lane, and they're going to get to the first lane in first place. This is Bennington giving chase.
By the way, from Opie last year, that was Kyler True. We really didn't mention his name. And
well, if you didn't know,
And he's now competing for Oklahoma State. Another thing impressive about this, talking to some of these young athletes, a lot of them going on to, terrific track and field programs, big time programs.
Well, and he is someone that is going to be able to go to a big program and not have to worry about his scholarship and some of the other things that sometimes entangle some kids in some of the distance events and things like that. But certainly he's not going to have to worry about that. Kyler's got a great career ahead of him as Bennington hands off first. Opie now second.
Kyler True won 3 gold medals a year ago for Opie. He was the star of this track and field meet a year ago and setting a new state track and state record in the 1600. So
also part of the 4x8 and the 32.
So his old high school girls team could hold on here, but this lead getting stretched out a little bit.
Well, and Opie's starting to labor a little bit. They're starting to fall back into the clutches of the rest of the field here. So we'll see if they can hang on for second place. Remember, top 2 teams get the automatic, and then it's the next provisionals. The rest are provisional times, 4 of them, to make up an 8-team field here. Opie still in second, but getting overhauled here. But it is Bennington looking pretty strong. One more handoff to go. Opie hanging on to second place. Bennington with a great handoff. They get away cleanly. Opie also getting it fast.
Again, Bennington coming out of lane 2 to start this race, so a bit of a surprise in that regard.
And we have a new second place team. It's Bennington right now. See who that is in second, if we can get a side bib.
We talked about the exchange and dropping the baton on the exchange. You see very often just anybody dropping it running.
Well, the one thing is if you're holding yours in the left hand and the person inside you is holding it in the right hand, and you start flailing your arms when you get tired, like about
bumping
here,
into each other, and
you can slap the baton out of somebody's hand. You certainly don't try to do that by any means, but if you are running with the baton next to each other, the chances of it getting knocked out of your hand increase.
It's like Hoxie is going to finish second here, coming on strong, as Bennington will cross the finish line first. Good race for Bennington out of, again, starting out of lane 2. Hoxie coming out of lane 3.
Bennington had gone 4:20. They run about 4:14 here unofficially. Nice run for the Bulldogs. Old town north of Salina. That always seems to turn out some pretty good track kids, especially on the girls' side.
We're going to move on now to Class 3A in the girls 4x400 in the first preliminary heat.
But some of these times are just silly.
We have Hoyt Royal Valley, Osage City, Thomas More Prep Marion, Scott City. And Scott City coming in with a time of 4:08.37. But Wellsville right next to him in lane 5 at 4:08.65.
And waiting just ahead of them, Colby at 4:06. So it's going to be.
That's in the second,
in the second heat. Waiting ahead, like I said, just ahead of them in the next heat. It's going to be Colby and Heston.
And then to round out this first heat, we got Sabetha, West Franklin, and Harper Chaparral. And we are off and running in the 4x400. Class 3A, the first preliminary heat. And again, the top 2 winners will automatically qualify for the finals tomorrow.
Right, we're going to have this, then we're going to have the boys' races, and then the last half of the distance festival will kick off, where we will have 6 races of the 3,200 meters.
I got to tell you, we had the 4A, 5A, 6A, 3,200 meters. The very first thing this morning at 7:45. That seems like another maybe 2 days ago.
And it was for you. That was and it was a lot stormier, and
it doesn't even seem like the same day anymore, as it has turned into a terrific sun-splashed afternoon here at Cessna Stadium in early evening now.
This Scott City in lane 4 looks like they're going to get the handoff away first.
Scott City wearing the Columbia blue uniforms, easy to see from up here and familiar with the Scott City Beavers.
And of course, Sabetha right there in lane 6 got a pretty good handoff as well. They're kind of in the fight at the moment, trying to haul in Scott, but when they come to the stagger here, it is going to be Scott Community that is going to be well out in front. Boy, really taking a sharp, direct line to the first lane, not taking any time on the stagger there.
Scott City, another great traditional power in a lot of different sports, in basketball and football over the years, and so it goes way back too.
Oh yeah, especially football. It's turned into a basketball town, but there was a long stretch there where it was a football city.
Well, it was kind of both. They won, and they had the same coach for football and basketball for a long time, Coach O'Neill, and they're one of the few schools that can say they produced an NBA basketball player now. So
they have, and there haven't been many until you get up in some of the bigger classes. That was a good handoff, and they are just stretching this out. They're turning this into a fight for second place in a hurry. You see what happens here. When you have that kind of lead, you can kind of take a little bit of a chance and sprint out a little bit, and then just kind of, force everybody else to just wear themselves out trying to haul you down or try to chase you down. And it's really almost an exercise in futility sometimes if you're in second or third place. It can be done. We've seen it done. We saw it done this morning. But right now, not sure if that's going to happen with this one or not. We'll have to wait and see. Still a lot of race left.
Yeah, Wellsville comes into this with a pretty good time. So let's see if they have something up their sleeve with Anchor. anchor leg.
They are getting closer, definitely. It's down to about 20 meters and closing in a hurry, Scott City. You got to wonder if they know that this is getting much, much closer than what it was. Another very good handoff. Scott City really making up ground. That is where they have been able to pull away. You see that sprint right there at the end, and they are just getting distance. The first 20 meters out of the blocks.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sprint coming up from behind.
Yep, but here comes.
Closing the gap a little bit.
And that
this is going to be a good finish.
Wellsville, and
wow.
Wellsville really coming on now.
Again, two very evenly matched teams time-wise coming into this preliminary, and it looks like it's going to be an evenly matched finish. The Wellsville with the extra kick. So we had approached the final turn on this 4x400.
We got to see if this girl from Scott City has some leg turnover, and now she is starting to show it, starting to pump those arms, getting a little better leg turnover here. She was looking a little bit slow coming through that corner, but now the leg turnover getting better and just starting to power away a little bit and put some distance.
Oh, that's a good finish. That's a good race.
Well, that is an outstanding time. You're looking at 4:06 in that.
That is a nice battle between two really good relay teams. One that had to fight from behind and made it close at the end, and the other that led from pretty much the entire race, Scott City.
Goodness, 4:06, that is going to equal what Colby is coming in this race. This, if this falls into place, this is going to be a great heat.
Good look at the young lady from Colby as they get ready. And again, to clarify a little bit, St. Mary's in this race. There's two St. Mary's. This is St. Mary's from up nearby Topeka, and we have St. Mary's Colby
High School, which is in Pittsburgh.
Yes. Starter is ready. Get the pistol ready to go. Let's see. And we are off. Clean start. Boy, Colby coming up strong already.
Not wasting any time.
First leg.
Also out there in lane 6, it looks like Halstead. We just mentioned them, that they certainly have a possibility to come up and maybe throw a surprise or two in here as well.
And Heston, of course, in lane 5, right next to Colby.
Heston with some good kids. See what happens here. This is going to be an interesting fight right here. Halstead and Heston really kind of putting some distance between them and Colby. Colby surprisingly far back a little bit. We'll see if they can make up some ground here, because they're going to have to. Nemaha County also right there. It looks like that Heston will hand off first, and they do. Oh, and Halstead almost has a falter there. They got out a little bit too fast. Their second leg took off way too early, but they managed to communicate and get the handoff made, and now we'll see what happens here as they break. That is Heston giving chase. Colby, surprisingly, is back, and back quite a ways. They are not in this fight right now. They are sitting back in about 6th place, trying to move up on the very outside, running out in lane 3. Colby now finally starting to make a move a little bit, but it is Halstead and Heston, and now here comes the rest of the pack trying to haul them in. These two rivals, they have been rivals in just about everything forever and ever, Heston and Halstead. And the rest of the field trying to haul them in. In fact, we have a new team, and that is Colby, that has made their way up. When we talked about whether they were going to get themselves back in the fight, that was it, because they certainly did. They're right there battling for the lead all of a sudden. What a finish in the leg there for the Trojans, as they have got themselves back up to the front. Heston and Halstead now giving chase. And it's St. Mary's getting into the fight as well, Leon.
Yeah, this is going to be this is a good battle here as we come down the final leg of this 4x400, and again, nothing is ever certain until it is certain. in the relays.
Boy, Heston falling back. Remember, they were the second seed in this. Halstead, which led for a while, trying to stay in the fight. They are still in third place, but it is St. Mary's and Colby. St. Mary's and Colby. St. Mary's, remember, has also run 4:10. Heston's gone 4:09, but they are nothing into the equation at this time. They are nowhere to be seen. It is a two-team fight, and great handoffs by both teams. And look at the takeoff for St. Mary's. Colby giving chase.
Here we go. And the pass is made as they head into that turn number 2 there on the far side.
So Colby out in front. St. Mary's trying to hang on. But wow, Colby coming from way back. That first leg did not look solid, but after that, it was all Trojan.
And we're going to have a movement for second place, I believe, coming up strong in the outside there.
That is Garden Plain.
Garden Plain looks like they may pull out second. Let's see it. It's getting close at first. Are they going to catch her?
Well,
and Colby is going to win, and boy, Garden Plain pull that out for second place.
well, you got to think all of them are going to make it. Heston, the disappointment right there, running 4:09, and they were nowhere in the equation after the third leg.